Oh, that's the way it goes, isn't it? Hello, g'day. G'day, Ape. G'day, T.O. How are you guys going?
Howdy, fellas.
Hey, Ape, this is how professionals stream. Take some notes.
What do you mean, son? You're all
You're
trying to copy
done.
me.
He's a professional. What are you talking about?
Welcome, Ape. Good to see you here.
What's going on, guys? What's been happening apart from a big balloon over the top of your country? What's been happening?
Fake news.
We're not allowed to talk about that.
There was no balloon.
Listen, the last time that we had a weather balloon incident was Roswell, Mexico, when the aliens landed. And,
oh, no, here we go. I knew it was a bad idea having Ape on the stream.
you would think that they would pick a better excuse for this thing. But
What was their excuse? It's a spy balloon?
what
They said?
well, trying to say it was a weather balloon.
Well, I heard from our discussion that we had last week, it was holding a whole stockpile of X-6100s that they wanted to drop ship into the country. But
Right. That was my order.
the military would rather shoot it out the sky than have that land in the amateur's hands, right?
Dirtiest
But,
radio ever made.
Well, we got some hate. We got some hate in the week for comparing that radio to the
feel
705.
it.
But anyway, go and watch the video and see what you think. There's a link in the description below to that.
A good time was had by all.
It was. All right, this week we're talking about Yaesu mobiles. To be quite honest, Yaesu mobiles. I've had a few different mobile radios, and I always find that Yaesu's are the best. That's my personal opinion.
Oh, fanboying already. Now we know how this show's going to go.
I know. We're not comparing it to any other brand in this particular stream, so it doesn't really matter.
Yaesu.
All of the Yaesu fans come into the stream and say hello. Let us know what Yaesus you own in the chat. But I've got an FT-8900. You know the quad band, the older quad band radio.
Yep, I sure do.
They're good. I like those. And in actual fact, I had two at one stage. And then I realised I don't have two vehicles, so I didn't need two. So, for those who don't know what that is, it is one of these radios. So the old school dual band,
Nice.
quad band, sorry, but dual receive. Yeah, it's good.
I had one of those. It burnt up.
Did it?
Yeah. And I sent it
That's
back to
unfortunate.
Yaesu for repair, and they're like, nope, not even worth sending it back to you. Can't fix it.
I've got the 7900 in my Jeep.
Oh, yeah.
And I've had it in there for 5-6 years, something like that. And it's a fantastic radio. I love it. And then I've got the 2800 right here, just 2-meter only mobile. And it's a fantastic radio. And I tend to agree that I prefer the Yaesu HTs and mobiles over the other brands.
Yeah. I'm trying to find I had the 7800. Let me do a search. So you've got the newer one. You had the 7900, yeah? This
Yeah,
one.
that's it.
Something that looks like that, yeah. Yeah, no, I prefer them. I've had a few Icon mobiles before, but I do like the Yaesus.
Well, one of the things I really like about that radio is that the microphone attaches to the head unit, not the body of the radio. And that makes it super easy and convenient for the way I have it mounted in my Jeep. If it mounted to the body of the radio, it would be a little bit of a hassle.
That seems like the most obvious thing you could possibly do with a detachable face radio. But people don't do it. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, I have the I traded my G90 for a 5100, the Icon 5100, and I haven't even taken it out of the box. It's been sitting there for a couple months. I thought about putting it in the Jeep, but it has the microphone head connects to the body, and to me that's pretty close to a showstopper. There'd have to be something compelling about the radio to have to deal with it.
Get your 25-foot Cat 5 Ethernet cable extension.
All janked up. I would, in the car you want it to look clean and stuff.
Got to show off, man.
Right.
You might
Flex.
have a member of the opposite sex in that car with you.
Gotta
Especially
flex.
being a ham radio operator.
Is that like
And
a
then when
CB?
Yeah, and then they asked for Ape's call sign, and he's like, nope.
I don't think most people even know about call signs.
Third date.
No, they don't.
You can
Is
have
that when
my
it
you can have
comes
my
out?
ATM PIN number. You can't have my call sign.
We got a couple of comments rolling in. We already know what To owns. He's got the 891 and the 818 and a VX6. There's a lot of 818s and 817s and people in the chat. I wonder why that is lately.
Well, it's the end of an era. End of an era. So.
I got mine before the end. I was
You got
He's
mine
got a
about 6
991.
years. I got mine
Well,
about
I was
6 years
saying-
before the end of the era, so I lucked out.
Well, we were saying that, weren't we, before we started the stream? I had the 817 about 5-6 years ago now, and it was good for what I used it for, which was for my microwave transverters. But it was too hard to read the screen. It was too small.
Well, that's the thing is like when I get mine out, I'm like this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, VK3YE, he loves his 817, and I tell you what, isn't
full
he
of
a good?
sand.
He's a good advocate for taking it into places where you shouldn't take it, like to beaches and places where radios get wrecked. So,
Well, the thing is I don't have a problem with it. And if people love the 817 and 818, and I see why they would, and if it's something you use, that's awesome, man. There's zero problem with it. What I find ironic are people who are like, oh my God, what are hams going to do now that we don't have the 818 any longer? And first off, they all complained when it upgraded from the 817 to 8. It only has one more watt. That's the most that they, and then now they discontinue it and they're all like, oh my, it's the saddest day for hams. You never hear them talk about those radios until they upgraded the 1 watt.
So Blue Ice says that they've ordered an FTM-300 in the mail, ordered a day before the FTM-500 release. Should have waited before ordering. Didn't think the FTM-400 replacement would come this soon. So, in case you've been living under a rock in the last 2 days or something like that, Yaesu did announce a brand new radio, the FTM-500. And in actual fact here, if we bring up QST for this month just quickly, actually next month, March really, look at that. Big full-size article. Let's have a look here. Big full-size article.
You're speculating there on this radio.
That is not a big
I'll
hit.
say. It is a big hit. Well, someone's already posted a comment in the chat saying, look at the size of the knob. So
First thing a guy's got to check out is the size of the knobs.
That's exactly what we spoke about last week, wasn't it? So,
Yeah.
But is that a
this
problem?
is using the a big
Were people
knob?
complaining that knob's too damn big? I won't be able to fit that.
No, I think it's fine. Hello. Not to be confused with K8 MRD of course. Hello,
K0, the original.
welcome. Yes,
Are we-
thank you for becoming a YouTube member.
It's every time you do this to me. Every time.
It's the only reason why we do it.
He needs some milk.
Thank you very much for checking in and becoming a new
Right,
member.
Evan? Evan is absolutely correct.
That's good. I like that. So this has got the new the AESS, which they
think
brought out
that's-
on the 710.
First off, we can't go too far down that path. I think there's some false advertising going on here because that is not a big head compared to its predecessor, the FTM-400.
Well-
FTM-400 screen was twice that size.
But
Well,
it's bigger
here you
than
go.
the 200 and the 300.
Actually, I don't think
this
it is
is-
actually. I think it's the exact same size.
No.
So
I
this
think
is
it's the same
this is
screen.
that compared to say that
Well-
not that no. What are you comparing it to?
The 200 and the 300. I think they all have a 2.8-inch screen.
So
Well,
that
we have to do
screen
some spec finding. I don't know.
If only
and that
we had
screen and that
some
screen
vast
are all the same.
repository of knowledge that was searchable.
But see,
Well,
the
it's
thing
defi-
is that when
it's
you look
definitely
at the
smaller
picture,
than it's definitely smaller than the 400 screen.
no, the
right?
400 screen's bigger, I would think.
That's what I mean. The 500 smaller than the 400.
Yeah. But see, like if you look at the dimensions here, the aspect ratio looks different in this picture than it does in the QST when QST was speculating about
Right.
it.
That's
Doesn't that
because
look a
they've
little-
shadowed it.
Okay, everybody in the chat, whenever Ape says speculate, take a drink.
But
Yeah, put a 1 in the chat every time Ape says speculate.
so I think
gonna
that
be a lot of
it
ones.
looks a little different on this screen.
Yeah. Yep. So this is this down the bottom here. That's the high fidelity audio speaker, right? Because we looked on the Secret
Yeah,
Squirrel
it is.
Japanese website, didn't we?
Yeah, it's
It
a
is.
No one
6
knows
watt
about.
Speaker. Yeah.
Down here. So
Yeah, that's
going
the
to pump.
front firing speaker.
So that's going to pump out some serious audio. In my installation in the car, I have an external speaker because the speaker is on the radio body. So it looks like this is on the remote head. So you may not need an external speaker.
Well, that's the thing is like I have the 7900 we were talking about, and I have to use an external speaker if I want to hear anything. And I like that this has that front firing speaker because that would be perfect in the Jeep, so I wouldn't have to run that second speaker.
Yep.
So I think that's very, very cool.
Well, before we go, we're going to do our standard comparisons today, aren't we, T.O.? We're kind of it's an interesting comparison, this one, though, because obviously this is the direct replacement for the 400, which you've got there.
Nope, it's not. John says it's not a replacement.
It's not a replacement.
Not a replacement.
It's just
Because it has more advanced. It has more advanced features. It's an alternative to a discontinued radio. Is what I got from that.
That's not a thing. Ed.
Hang on a minute.
You can't
What?
invent marketing terms.
So hang on a minute. So it's not. So they've discontinued the 400. Does that mean that we can expect another 400 replacement?
The 400.
Yeah, in a year it's gonna be the 550. Yeah.
The 400 Mark II.
Okay. All right.
The 401 ND.
Well, yeah. No. It'll be the 501, not the 500. So for the purposes of this stream, I think we're going to do a comparison between the two because, to be quite honest, one has just been discontinued and one has just come out. So I kind of think it makes sense to be able to do that. We may be wrong. We may be.
We're going to be extremely wrong.
We don't know anything because what are we doing, Ape? What are we doing, Ape?
We're speculating, right?
Right.
There we go. So this is our standard format. We love our Canva chips, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing again.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to infuriate a lot of people. It's going to get a lot of people upset, but we don't care.
It's already
So it looks like. Speaking of which, too, we put a poll in the chat, and 38% have said yes, they're going to buy the new 500, and 62% say no. So that's actually that actually surprises me. I thought that those numbers would be a little bit different, but
Well, here's my question: if you have a working 400, would you replace that with a 500?
no.
Right now, if you didn't have a 400, like in my situation,
hang on.
I think where I've got like a 7-year-old mobile, to me that makes sense to do that upgrade.
just for
But
the
hang
color
on a minute.
screen alone.
Even though we say that, we haven't actually been through the two, if any of them, what the features are differently, apart from the fact that one's got a front-facing speaker on it. So, I guess we can't kind of answer that already. But, yeah, let's have a look at, so the basics of between the two, and I think you're right, though. If you did have an older model radio, you'd definitely look at, buying the new one, obviously. So the 400, they're both basically 2-meter 440 dual band radios. They both got C4 FM. They're both dual receive at the same time. What else is similar between them? Touchscreen sizes are different. We already established that. What are the differences between the two?
Well, screen size.
Screen size, yeah.
Well, it says that this new one does. You can do digital and digital on both VF. I know it's only a single VFO, but I don't know what you call them. Both slots or whatever. You can do digital and digital. I don't know if you could do that with a 400.
Oh, like dual digital. So you could only do analog, like you can see in the photo, digital on one and FM on the other.
Yes.
Dual, yep. Okay, so that's here we go. Simultaneous communications, voice digital. That's for the 400. So that's different, you think?
I'm not 100% sure, but I didn't think that the 400 did digital on both.
So there it is, 2.4-inch screen.
2.4 compared to a 3.5. So
That
that's
almost
that's
extra inch.
That's an extra chip for the 400 then.
Yeah.
The 500 has a real FT710 look about it, doesn't it?
That's their new brand language, yeah. So the FTDX10, 710, 200, 300, 500, they all, and the 5D, they all have that same kind of appeal, visual appeal. We call that
Well, see, I think
brand
that looks
language.
good. I think it looks good. I like the
I like
way
it.
it looks.
I
It
like
looks
the look
sporty.
of it. Do you like and we'll inevitably get upset commenters about this later on, but do you like the look of that head versus the 400 in your vehicle? Like, this looks
I do
quite
not
chunky.
I don't
Yeah.
like the 400. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it looks like a 1997, 1998 vintage BlackBerry. But
Yep,
I'm
totally
not,
agree.
I'm not a fan of the 400, and I have said that before. And I know a lot of people are. And if it's your radio, God bless you. You're a fantastic, amazing person, and you have a fantastic radio. No lie. But my personal opinion is I don't like it.
K0, BKO, big
I mean,
touchscreens are killing ham radio.
It is a good radio, but it's not my favorite. And I've got lots of reasons. So this is going to be a fun
Blue
stream.
Ice, the FTM-500 head will attach to the body. I think the FTM-400 does not.
Correct. It does not attach to the body. I don't know if the 500 does attach. It looks like it does, but I know the
It
400
looks-
does not.
It looks like it because you've got this little slot in the back, and why would they do that? They just put a blank plate there. But again, what are we doing, Ape?
We're speculating, and while we're speculating, Tio and I were having a discussion. Go back to the picture of the 500 if you don't mind.
Yeah.
On the right-hand side of the head, there is something, and Tio was thinking that was a Cat 5 port, and I was thinking it was the button that you depress to detach the head from the body.
So there's
Yeah.
like two there. There's what looks like an RJ45 in the middle right side of the faceplate, and then above it there's a button. So there's a couple of things going on there.
Oh no, we better not do that. We'll get
Now you're gonna get yelled at.
You're gonna
we'll get sued. Yeah, okay. So here, yeah.
See, I think that thing above it is a shadow, but
I think that's just the button that you use to just take the head off. But then there's the connector here, which I think looks like the
That
mic
looks
connector.
like a microphone connector, which would be. I mean, maybe it's in
Yeah.
the spec sheet. Check the spec sheet. Just Control F microphone.
well, I looked at everything on that website, and I did not see anything that said attached to the head.
On this website, the Ham Life one.
Yeah, and then I went to the FCC website and was trying to see if I could find the submission for. I'm assuming it's going to have Part 90 certification,
Well,
and
cool.
I looked all over there and I couldn't find anything. It's just that one front-facing picture has been the only thing that I could find.
Well,
if you're going to do a
if-
product launch, you definitely want to take only one picture.
Well, technically, they haven't done a product launch yet, right?
That's right. The U.S. does not get the internet like the rest of the
Well,
world does.
the Britons didn't do a product launch either, and neither did Yaesu Japan. So what I suspect happened is that Martin Lynch and Sons got a heads up that this radio was going to be coming soon, and then they just went and posted it in their pre-order bucket.
Yeah.
And then somebody did a video on it, and then everybody went nuts.
Sorry.
Well, Andrews, I think he
Right.
beat you by a day.
And 7
Oh,
videos.
dear. So he was technically first look. So
Well, listen, I've seen ham tubers do a first look on a radio that's 2 years old. In all fairness.
It's my first look. Don't be judging. Don't be hating.
that is true. That is true. Well, this kind of style is obviously very close to the 200 and the 300, where they've got the mobile.
The 300 looks a
remote
lot
head
more like
comes
the
off,
4, right?
It does, just smaller.
The style. If you look at the styling of it, it looks a lot like the 4.
I think
Yeah.
the 200 looks better than the 300. I think the 500 looks better than the 200. I think the 400.
Hang on a minute.
You already heard me.
Yeah, I'm already lost. The only thing that is handy, I suppose, with the 400 is for things like if you're using these screens, like this navigation screen for APRS, your GPS data, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Having the larger screen and the touch screen as well by putting your frequency inputs in, that is, it's harder on a small screen.
Well, and the thing is that radio does a ton of stuff, right? You just saw, and there's no buttons on the front of it, right? There's hardly any. So that means it's going to be all menu driven. So you need more screen real estate is a big deal there.
Yeah, and I know I've said in the past about Yaesu radios with their menus are a little bit confusing. The difference is with VHF and UHF mobile radios is that once you set them, you don't really have to worry about them too much. It's just It's in deep buried in a menu somewhere. Once you program your memory channels in and everything else, you don't really have to worry about it. So
Well, see, that's the thing. I was going through the list of functions that come with the 500, and one of the things it was saying is that you can touch the spectrum scope that it'll have, and it'll take you automatically to that frequency, which is a great thing. But when I'm driving, I'm not looking at the radio, and what I really mostly do is in the hand mic, I use the scan up and scan down, and when I hit a repeater that has traffic, I stop the scan. I get that not everybody has that same use case, but I would imagine that when you're out and about, you're just going to be listening to probably the 5 local repeaters. I don't know how much of that extra stuff you really need.
Well, when you're in the parking lot with your best girl,
Right, be like, hold on, let's see.
Look at this spectrum.
Right, I got to check into the traffic net real quick. Hold on a second.
is that something you do
Hold
often?
your horses, hon.
Right, they might
Check
need
into
me
the
to
traffic
pass some
net or have a
traffic.
woman in the car.
Both.
Right, they might need me to pass traffic.
Yeah.
I'll be passing on something.
All right. So we've given a chip for the screen size.
Yeah, we've gotten very far. 20 minutes in, one chip.
We probably should give one to the 500 basically on the front, the fact that it's got that front-facing speaker. I think that's a main thing that a lot of us will find very handy in not having to have an external speaker in the car.
Right.
And what was the other thing that we mentioned as well? Detachable head, no. The microphone on the head, that's
That's speculating.
Well, that's true. So we can't say that. No. All right. That's all right. One apiece.
No.
Just no. Pop your chips back where they belong. It looks like everything else is the same. It's got the general coverage receiver as well, which all the way up to 999.995 megahertz.
Does this have more receive coverage than the 400?
No, I don't believe so. So the 400.
I'd be surprised.
The 400 has
450?
108.
No, there it is, 99.
With all of the bits, like they block the cell stuff and all that sort of thing, which I never really quite understood anyway, because I thought it was all encrypted and you can't. Why is it blocked? You just hear noise. But anyway.
So when the 400 came out, when they were selling a lot, probably around 4 years ago. A little bit before the start of the global tragedy. And what was happening is they had them really cheap. You could get them for like $475, $500, something like that. And they were pushing the Yaesu System Fusion repeaters. And a lot of repeaters were converting to System Fusion. Now, one of the things I noticed, and I heard a lot of other people talking about it, is you would be driving along, listen to your local repeater, and then you would start hearing the APRS traffic because somebody didn't have their radio configured correctly on the 400. And it was spitting out APRS on the other band that it wasn't supposed to. That said, I saw that the new one, the 500, has a feature that automatically detects whether it's a digital or analog repeater that you're connected to, and then will transmit accordingly. There's no setting that you have to make. So I don't think that was a setting in the 400. I wasn't as lucky as Tio to own a 400, so I don't know.
So where did you see that? Where did you see that feature, or was that speculation?
No, it was on the Japanese site.
I'm just going through here now. So 500 has got touch panel display, dual speakers, latest operating system, blah blah blah. Cooling system, main features.
Now that is some marketing speak. The dual convection funnel, whatever.
Yeah, I saw that. We'll get back to reading about that in a minute. Is it automatic mode select? Is that what you're talking about? FM friendly digital with
That might have been it, but I don't think so.
Someone did mention in the chat earlier on too. It says swing head mechanism that can change the angle of the control head upward up to 20 degrees. So someone said if that's just being described like that, you would assume that means that it's clicked into the radio and you can adjust.
And then there is a separate SJMK 500. I'm pointing at my screen like you can see that. The SJMK 500 is the spherical joint type mount kit. Again, marketing on point with this.
Yeah. The other thing that interests me, and it's one thing I don't have, is I've got the 8900 in the car, but that doesn't have APRS, it doesn't have GPS, it doesn't have that. So I've got a separate radio for APRS that just sits under the seat of the car and just beacons away, whereas this has APRS built into it, which the 400 also has. So that's something for me which is interesting, which makes me want to have a look at this radio. They both had Bluetooth. Did the 400 have Bluetooth, Tio?
The 400 has a Bluetooth card you can add into it later.
Right. So this one's just saying Bluetooth optional headset, but it's got Bluetooth wireless operation. So
Yeah, and
maybe
I'm
it's
wondering
built
if that means that it is, like it says required, is that again marketing speak, or does that mean it only works with that headset? Like it won't work with your regular, Planetronics off the shelf Bluetooth headset.
Okay, so Colin also says he thinks it is AMS, yeah. So fair enough.
Well, there was another radio that they had that, and maybe it was the 400, maybe it was the 300, that was Bluetooth, but it only worked with certain Bluetooth headsets.
That's how they get you.
But the
Cooling
thing is that you get
system.
people buying Bluetooth headsets like, I got this off of Alibaba, and it was only $6, and it doesn't work. This radio's junk. And I think that is a little unfair.
Cooling system that guarantees stable transmission output. The FAC. The FAC? Yeah,
Guaranteed.
FAC.
Right.
FAC. I think it's FAC. Funnel Air Convention Conductor. It's not the best
It's
acronym.
got
acronym.
fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the video I did, and somebody comes along and they're like, that's just fancy speak for venti. It gave some engineering term for it. And I was like, I don't know. That sounds more fancy.
It
So
does.
it's got fans in the front that suck air in and blow it out the back over the heat sinks, just like the 891 does.
It's the exact same system that I've got on one of my 2.4 gigahertz transverters because it gets so hot, so I have to suck air in one and push it out the other because, it gets too hot.
So look at this. Blue Ice is confirming what we said. The FT5DR with built-in Bluetooth
okay.
compatibility is spotty.
But how old is the 5? What
year
gen would
ago?
you
2?
say is the 5? Yeah, okay. So it's not that old then, really.
I think it's after
The
the
control
300.
the control head can be adjusted upwards by 20 degrees with respect to the main body, ensuring sufficient visibility of the display even when installed under the dashboard of the vehicle.
Yeah, I don't know what car they're driving.
What? Yeah. I don't want to install it under my dash. I won't be able to see it.
You have to be looking down at your kneecaps.
I'll be doing like this. Anyway, that's okay. I think that's just speculation. There's that word again. So, is there any massive differences between the 400? The 400 gives you more stuff. You reckon? More stuff.
Yeah, so I see the GPS icon on the screen of the 500, but I did not see APRS. I didn't scan very much, but I didn't see GPRS in the specs on the new one.
So GPRS.
APRS. So yeah, control
APRS.
APRS.
It does. It's listed in the
No,
Japanese site.
it does. Yeah, APRS compatible.
There it is.
Well, hang on, APRS compatible. Does that mean it has a GPS and it outputs GPS data, or it's got APRS in it?
I think it has a GPS input.
See,
Maybe
that was the best part about the 400 was the way that it was supposed to be able to receive APRS, and then put a compass heading on the screen, and send back and forth messages and stuff. And this one, they're like, yeah, it kind of does APRS.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't owned these new ones, but I still love the Kenwood APRS that they did in those radios, and they're so hard to find now. They're so expensive for starters because they're hard to find. But I don't know, the APRS in the 400. I looked at the 400 just before we go on to a point I was just about to make about the 400. The APRS in this just looks a little bit, I don't know. I guess it's okay. You're not going to get this with the 500.
well,
You're not gonna
as
get
a
this level of
collection of
detail.
radios being produced, Yaesu's doing the best APRS work, I think.
At the moment, yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and some
no
folks
one
were
else is
asking
doing
if
it.
this does DPRS.
No.
Now I don't know if they mean the ICOM implementation of D-Star PRS or if they mean APRS over a digital channel.
APRS over digital, I think.
Yeah, because I think that the term DPRS is actually an ICOM term.
Thing. Yeah.
Just
But would you
is
want to
that
do APRS over Fusion, right? Because I would think that the bulk of the, what are those things called? Digipeaters that are out there are not Fusion.
Right.
No, they're not analog ones anyway. Is that an SO239 on the 400? Did the 400 come with an SO239?
Yeah.
That's
kinda
weird.
standard.
What do you mean that's weird?
No, because my 8900 and the 7800 before that and the 8800, they all had end connectors. They didn't come with SO239.
Sure.
That must be
Australia.
that must be a British thing then, because I can
Is
tell
that
you
a North?
that all of mine have the SO239s.
Yeah.
So is that a North American radio thing where you've got those on it? Because it's
Mine
the
do.
the North American version. Is that the Japanese version of the radio? I don't know. Because all of ours, they all come with end connectors.
Yeah, I don't have a single radio with an end. Well, that's not true. I do have a Yaesu 847 with an end connector.
Garrett, congratulations.
Congrats, Garrett. Yeah, okay, that's just weird to me. I don't know why you'd use an SO239 on 440, but anyway, that's me.
You're spoiled with that 9700 from ICOM.
No, I'm talking about Yaesu radios. They've got end connectors on the back.
In your country, your fancy pants country.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'll get my phone and I'll walk out there and I'll show you. My
No, we don't doubt you.
I dare you
No,
to
it's
go
just
get it.
it's just strange. Well, it's down underneath the car seat, so
That's all right. We got time.
Maybe if you had a video where you showed your mobile install.
well, I do have one of those. I can go for a walk if you want me to show you.
Can you?
Walk
Why don't you
around.
pull up the web britishhams.com and see if it's got a picture of it.
Hang on, Yaesu FT-8900 R
For regional.
images. Here we go. This is rig pics.
Yeah,
at
so
that.
there's an N type.
N type.
Well, I'll be looking at that.
I mean, it's easy
But
enough
look
to
at that.
replace them.
There's another one, SO239. There's another one, N-type. Well, that's AliExpress. That's probably that's a Chinese.
right, that's a
version.
knockoff. That ain't a real. That's a
That's
fake
a
one.
knock- That's a knockoff.
That's a
Here we
Yaesu
go.
FTM
There's an
399.
N. That's it.
It's like that's
So-
probably the TYT
Yeah.
The TYT, yeah.
that actually ships with a link to the Yaesu manual. Is it? I don't know if that's true or not. But
Wasn't
would
it
be funny.
TYT that stole that from them? Stole the Yaesu radio design?
Exactly. I think that they cloned two different Yaesu
Industrial
radios.
espionage. We're not doing so hot on the chips here, Hayden.
No, we're not. That's well. This is the thing. I
Big
guess the
screen
400.
AESS.
Well, I guess the 400 gets another one because of all the extra features that you get, like with the touchscreen type stuff in it. Like, I don't know. I'm clutching at straws here at the moment. You're the one who owned it.
Oh,
What
I
do you
owned it
think?
for like a week, and I was
Oh,
not
okay.
happy. Not happy at
But
all.
you also had the Gen 1 too, right? Like, is that-
Probably. And, so like I tried to do a firmware upgrade and it was not possible. And I'm like the king of firmware upgrades. So it's not me. And we actually had a club meeting where John was supposed to come. John Kruk from Yaesu was supposed to come and like upgrade day. Everybody gets their FTM-400s upgraded with the new firmware because it was like that difficult to do. And then that interface, it kind of bugged me. This is one of my I'm going to rant for a second. This is one of my things about ham radio. I always thought that ham radio was supposed to be the most advanced, cutting edge, bleeding edge stuff. And my GMRS radio here is way more cutting edge and advanced than any ham radio I've seen. I mean, look at that. What's that on the back of that thing? Is that a USB-C charging port? Like it's possible to charge a radio with USB-C? And this thing's Bluetooth programmable from the factory. I don't need any fancy add-ons. And, like, why isn't my ham radio like that? And so the FTM-400 with its, circa 1997 user experience is not something I was happy about.
Yeah. Whoop. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Thanks for the rant.
I told you.
No, but it
I
makes-
warned you.
No, it's that right because, so this is the other thing. They've released this
Right.
radio. They've released this radio in the last. Well, no, sorry, they haven't released it. The news came out in the last couple of days,
The
and of course,
speculation.
the speculation, and it's all official because remember, it's in QST. It's in the
Therefore,
QST
it's not
magazine.
speculation.
No, so the main thing I see is I see comments on social media going, "Oh, it's just another radio. It's the same as it's always been. It's the one before, and all this other stuff." But you get
But so
people
what if that's
complain.
true? Right.
Well, that's what I mean. You get people that complain if companies are not releasing new radios, and then you get other people that complain when they do release new radios. It's like, you know, hey, just think about this for a minute. Amateur radio is not a massive market for these companies. They're not making massive dollars from releasing these radios. The fact that they actually... So, no, we won't start with the conspiracy theories. But
no.
I think it's great that they're releasing radios.
Well, they could just say... Well, they could just say, no, we'll release one every, 5 years just because we have to, sort of
And
thing.
they've released the FTDX10, the FTM-200, the FTM-300, the FT710 AESS, and the FT5D, and now the FTM-500 mobile radio in the last... I'm going to be generous and say the last 3 years, but I think it's actually been maybe less than that. I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
They're releasing radios, which means somebody's buying them because they wouldn't spend that kind of R&D money. I mean, granted, Yaesu does keep their radios in production for 50 years. So, they're going to get a long production run out of these guys. But that's a lot of R&D.
But also, too, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's a Japanese country. They are very much, they love to be innovative.
I'd like to see it.
And it's the same too. ICOM have done the exact same thing. So I don't know what everyone...
The thing is that when you get these Yaesu radios, they can last you 10, 15, 20, 25 years. And you know that they're developed and researched and engineered in a quality way. With the Chinese radios, when you get a new version out every 6 months, you know that they have rapid R&D that's probably, kids in a sweatshop somewhere soldering these things together, where I just don't feel that you're going to get the same longevity out of something like a G90 that you're going to get out of a 817 or an 818. That's probably controversial, but I think you're talking about a completely different quality and level of radio.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at that. That knob's not going to fall off anytime soon.
Right.
Well, I still wonder what that knob's for.
Well, even if it's for looks, it's probably still...
Because it has the same four knobs that the three predecessors have.
Again, this is pure speculation. I think that bigger knob is probably
There it is again.
for manipulating through the menuing system, because you're going to have limited touch screen compared to what you had on the 400.
So
even though
this
this is not a replacement for the 400, it's an alternative choice to a discontinued radio.
This is like a 2010 iPod then, right?
Yes.
We're going to have to go back through and edit all of the times Ape says speculation, I think, in a YouTube short or something. Yeah. Have we actually confirmed it is touchscreen? Have we actually confirmed
it?
It
is.
Yeah?
It's in there. You can just Control F and search for touch. So
can you do that?
Yeah. What's the upgrades over the 400? So Nature's Child's asking, what's the upgrades over the 400? We don't really know. The AESS, the dual speaker system.
Which is why it's giving us a hard time to actually chip this thing. If you're familiar with the way that we do these very non-scientific ways, we put a chip next to each radio for a good thing or a bad thing. We take a chip away, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard this time. So we've got one for the speaker and one for the touchscreen size.
Well, the thing is, the 500 should get a chip because it's not discontinued.
Because it's still going to be available for the next 10 years. I mean, we got to do something here. Now, all right, there's your buying decision. It's available, brand new.
Yep. Hey, it's got a new microphone design too. Did you notice that? Because the 400 still uses the old style microphone, which has been around for
I think
forever and a day.
Right?
Yeah. So this is now going to the 200 and 300 style of microphone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which. So FTM 300 DR, US, Asia, and Australia. So we don't get the European version. We get the same version of you, but we get an end connector on the back. So that's interesting.
So this 200, can we get a close up of the 200?
Yep.
Let's get a little. See, it has that same clip on the side of it that the 500 does, and we know that that's not the mic port thing because the mic only plugs into the body.
actual size. It
I don't
just
know
seems
about
much
that.
bigger to me.
It is when you zoom it up on a screen. What's the difference between a 200 and a 300?
I have no idea.
Don't all speak at once.
I read it the other day. The 300 is supposed to be a little tiny bit better, but I think the 200 looks better, and that's what's really important, as we found out last week.
Hey, look. So the FARC cooling is not brand new. That's on the 300.
I told you it's in my 891.
Yeah, but it's not marketed that way though, is
How
it?
do you say that? Fach?
Well, that's the Australian pronunciation.
FARC.
The U.S. pronunciation has an R in it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes, no, that's true. So the 300
is real. There we go. Yep.
300 3-watt speaker. So I'm assuming the 200's got a 3-watt. Yeah, 3-watt speaker. So
There you go. Lance is saying that single versus dual receivers is a big deal. Is a big difference.
So Nature's Child is also asking if they all have C4 FM. So all of the color screen, this is the easy way to tell, all of the color screen mobile 2 meter, 70 centimeter Yaesu radios have C4 FM. The FTM 6000, FT 6000, D, whatever the number is for that, is analog only, and it's not a color screen and no C4 FM.
So the 300's dual receive. In other words, you can listen both at the same time with independent receivers, which is why they got the 4 knobs here. And the 200's not dual receive. You've just got a second VFO down the bottom. Is that right?
Yeah.
What's the point of this down here if you can't listen to it at the same?
Well, you can probably do dual watch, not dual receive. So think about your Baofeng, right? Can't your Baofeng do dual watch, but it's not dual receive?
Well, yeah. I don't know, but I've never used dual watch in my life.
I can only hear
dual
one thing at a time.
Well, yeah. I mean, true.
The D indicates.
So you mentioned about that
There you go,
automatic
Rob.
mode select. The 200's got that automatic mode select as well.
Well, there you go. There goes that speculation out the
Somebody
window.
in the chat said that the 400 had the AMS also.
You got to plus that
Yeah.
up a little bit, dude. Yeah, that's too small.
You've got a
14
magnifying
inch.
glass. What are you talking about? Get your magnifier out.
I'm still using it.
There we go. Now you're good. Now you're good. Looks fine on my screen. Nature's Child.
No. The 400 has a
Removable-
non-attachable face, which is
Yeah.
splitting hairs, but you can't attach it back. Therefore, you can't remove it. It's never mounted on the radio.
Yep.
It's a never removable because it's a never attachable.
Yeah. Again, I'm just because we're trying to give like some featured stuff here. We're trying to give some non-speculative information.
We're trying, but we're struggling a little bit.
Right. It's
So,
hard.
yeah.
Well, somebody was asking if it had full frontal duplex, the 500, and I don't know. I didn't see anything in any of the ad copy that I was reading.
Well,
Yeah. I don't see it.
when you mean full frontal duplex, you mean dual receive at the same time? Is that what you're talking about?
No, receive and transmit at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Satellite chasing.
Because the other, it'd be interesting to see if it's got it. Because the Kenwood radios used to have, you'd have one VFO which was your voice channel, and then you'd have the other VFO which was your APRS. And if you transmitted on 440 while you had APRS on 2 meters, it would transmit it in the background as you're driving. But if you had them both on 2 meters, it wouldn't transmit until after you let go of the button because it can't transmit on the same band at the same time. So I don't know if any of the Yaesus have that feature. I'm assuming they do, especially these dual receive ones with where you can have the other band in the other VFO. But no, I don't think it's got full duplex. But that is speculation. We should have just named this stream the ultimate Yaesu mobile speculation stream.
Speculation round
There's time
table.
to change the thumbnail.
There is time to change the thumbnail.
Nobody's watching the show yet.
No, just looking at the votes. So we've got 105 votes, 41% to 59%. So
Look at that delay.
I know
that is back there.
it's because it's not live. There we go. Now we're streaming within our stream.
Streamception.
So we mentioned that before about APRS. The 200, the 300, and the 400 all have APRS. The 500 says it has a GPS and it has compatible with APRS, so we're assuming it's got APRS in it, but we're not sure whether it's got digital. Was it digital PRS?
It's got to be
DPRS.
so hard to type a message in on that screen with that big jog dial.
Right. You're going to need a Bluetooth app for your phone to type it in.
Well, Stacey says that should be worth a chip or two. Surely the big knob needs a chip.
I'm fine with that. Now, the other one is that we know that the 400 has a data port on the back. We do not know if the 500 has a data port.
I would love it if it did.
Yeah, Frank's got it. I think this is what I was trying to say earlier. It's my understanding that, yes, the 500 can do digital on both. The 400 can
okay.
only do digital on VFO-A.
I see. So the data terminal that you're talking about is this one?
No, I was
here?
talking
Is
about
that-
I was talking about the
no,
data terminal.
No, go scroll down. It's that one. That weird 13-pin connector.
Oh, the
or whatever it
proprietary
is.
one that's been around for years. Yeah.
10-pin, if I can count.
What's the micro SD card slot used for, Tio?
Program your
400.
radio. Just program your radio.
I think it was firmware updates.
Well, you can use RT systems and the Yaesu software, and you can write a code plug, so to speak, to your SD card on your computer, then take it out and stick it into that slot, and then just install it that way. So you don't have to unmount your radio and take it in the house to program it.
Oh, quick! Someone get Rob into the R&D department. We should get voice recognition in
Alexa,
these radios.
QSY 14652.
How good would that be? Alexa, transmit on the repeater for 60 minutes non-stop.
So
Dead
back to my back to my rant. You can go to Walmart and get an Android phone for $25. Why? Hello. Why can't you get a radio with
full screen, mate.
with an Android head unit in it, so you can do programming and install apps with an open API? Boy, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Could you imagine Google Maps using the radio's GPS system, and then like Find My Friend by call sign with the APRS app built into the GPS with the Android touchscreen? Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? 25.
That-
I don't know.
that
It doesn't
sounds-
sound like real ham radio to me.
That's actually you're getting onto a good idea there, I think, Tio. But then you'll get hams to say, I don't want that in my radio. It's a privacy concern.
Good.
I don't want them to know where I live.
Don't have it in your radio. Stay in the Stone Age, dinosaur.
I think we got a bit loose on this stream, but it's good and I love it.
Yeah. The half hour of kilowatt power is now the Sunday night ham radio brawl.
The Sunday night shenanigans.
This Sunday.
I don't know. I think going back to what we said earlier on in the stream, if you've got a 400 already, or you've got, if you've got a 400, or even if you've got the 2 or 300, it's probably not that much of an upgrade to a 500, right? It's pretty much.
You'd have to have some expendable cash, I think, if you were going to do something like that. You know what I mean? Like if you take a look at how much that thing's going to cost, I don't want to speculate on that, but if you look at it, what the ballpark prices are, what?
There's definitely
the thing is
a
that
shortcoming. Don't worry about that.
the thing is that I could spend $700 I could make some material improvements to the ham shack, but if I didn't have an alternative for a nice digital dual band mobile radio, then I could see buying it.
So would you rather have this at that, which seems to me that's the same price as the FT5D HT?
What,
I'd go
have
with
that over what?
the 500 or the 5D,
Oh,
the HT or the mobile.
well, there's a bit of a difference there, isn't there?
There is a
on the
lot
use
of
cases?
difference, but I mean, I'm thinking the price is kind of speculating here about the same.
Don't even
Well,
get started on
in
price.
terms of the mobile, I would probably be more likely to buy the 6000 than I would any of those three, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, Chris says trying to figure out first mobile unit. I think if this is going to be your first mobile unit, you probably can't go wrong with it. If
It
you
will
don't
last
have
you a
anything
long
else,
time.
yeah, like
So-
most Yaesus, like
Chris, I will say this: the defining purchase decision on a mobile radio is what is the repeater in your area's digital mode. Is it a DMR repeater? Is it a D-Star repeater? Is it a Fusion repeater? Then get the radio that does that. But that's like the first chip in your decision factor.
Right.
Taylor is correct. This goes against everything we believe in. Just because something new comes out, that doesn't mean our working old stuff is any less great.
Correct.
No, is entirely true. And if the new radio's got a feature that you must have, like I notice a lot of people saying that speaker in the head unit is
is a game
must,
changer.
then that's good because no one else does that. So go ahead and get that.
But the thing is for me is I've already got the speaker wire and everything in the Jeep. You know what I mean? So it's like, technically it's more work because now I got to
But you're not going to. You have to sell the Jeep. That's what you do.
So I'd have to take that out. I mean, it's a fantastic looking radio. I don't say anything other than that. I mean, it looks like it'd be really nice. But the conversation for me is really, is that something that I need, or is it not something I need?
Yeah. The interesting big head.
It's not.
Well,
Unless I
it's
see it in
interesting
person at Hamcation. Like the speaker port makes it bigger. Other than that, I think it's the same size as the 200. I'm speculating, of course.
No, it's bigger because it's got the bigger knobs. It's got 4 big knobs on it, 4 medium knobs.
4
No,
medium
it's got-
knobs,
yeah.
1 big knob.
4 medium knobs, 1 giant knob. Randall, I need to know more about the big knob to know if I like the radio.
Right?
That's fair. It's fair.
You mentioned before, Ape, about having expendable cash. Were you talking about ham radio operators? Because you know that they've got short arms and deep pockets, right?
Well, here's the thing, and
Right.
I kind of believe that, and I kind of don't. I think that's
That
more
includes me. That includes me, by the way.
I think that's more of a legacy ham. Like I'll see new hams who buy, a DX10, right? And they're like, I bought this DX10 because it's going to be sweet taking POTA, and then they show a picture of their POTA setup. It's a DX10, the $49 crap top that sucks,
G5
and
RV.
right, and just all these other accessories that they buy or they'll be using like the ATU 100 tuner on it, and that's where I'm just like I don't understand that. That's like buying racing car and then putting retread tires on it or something like that. You know what I mean? So sometimes I get surprised by that stuff.
Yeah, or buying a Lamborghini and putting like the cheapest tires on it, and
Right, or
Driving it to the grocery store on Sunday only.
low
not
octane
using
low
it.
octane gas on it in it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean, but well, look at Andy's speculating in the chat. He says the 500 is going to be $650. So
well, I reverse engineered the yen pricing from the Japanese website, and I understand that there's all kinds of global
Reverse-engineered.
currency. Yeah, I know there's all kinds of reverse currency things, and the petrodollar is still the primary dollar, but I came up to $719.
Stop your speculating.
Right.
Stop it.
No.
And I did say don't quote me on that in my video. So that the only thing I really speculated on in my video was if they were going to do an official announcement at Hamcation.
Here we go. The standard price, including tax, is 94,600 yen for the FTM-500. Ignore the DS because that's the low-powered. I think that's the
21,
low-powered
yeah.
Japanese version. Yep. So if we go to my favorite currency website, we put in
He was fast on that.
94,600 and put that into. Oh no, that's not going to mean much to anyone.
Aussie bucks.
$717 US. That's what it says.
Yeah.
I can't afford that.
But anyway, that's what is that? That is speculation of the Japanese hamlife.
Hey, but if you were
website.
like a UHF VHF maniac and that's what you did at your house, and you're in the APRS and you're connecting the repeaters and doing all kinds of stuff, it's an awesome radio for that. You know what I mean?
The radio's got it's got 6 watt in the front speaker, but it's only 3 watts in the radio unit.
Yeah, I think that my 7900 is like a 3-watt speaker in the back.
So they just use the same standard speaker in there rather than in the front.
Should I say it, guys? Should I do it?
What?
So there's been some more speculation that the base is the exact same base with a new firmware on it, and That's where you get the AESS. So it's the old base with the new head.
Well, why would it even need a different firmware? Like technically, they could maybe still use the firmware, and then just the head unit contains where all the magic happens, right?
Could be.
Like the base unit is just your audio path in and out, and your power amplifier, right? And that's and then everything else happens in the head unit. That would actually be really good engineering.
It would be fantastic engineering. I mean, it'd be like your favorite barbecue restaurant where everything is one variation of the three things on the stove in the back.
Some are putting in the chat too about the price being quite expensive in other currencies other than American dollars. We will say though that's just what is written on the hamlife.jp website, so it could be different. And we
did pull up the 400 price, and it was pretty high like that. But it could have been, it could have been all the ham distributors in here in the United States doing hams a solid by raising the price $150 after something's been discontinued.
Yeah,
right. Like I think that's what happened with the 818. The price went up $100 the day they announced it was discontinued.
So the 400 is which is out of stock. It's got $650 on there.
Right.
So. It's not really that much of a difference compared to this, really. So, price wise, I don't know what that is I don't know, because Tio and I have done streams before where we've compared the price, and the prices have been wildly different between Australia and the United States, and sometimes it's even, sometimes though it's a bit cheaper here, and sometimes it's the opposite over there. It all depends. I'm just trying to find the.
Well, I'm sure you guys track global currencies. The dollar's a little stronger this week. You probably saw the price of gold went down, and I think that part of their thing might be you could see it cheaper in the U.S. right now because of the stronger dollar.
Well, I was watching the cup and saucer chart for the gold, and it was definitely a strong buy for me last week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got. On the final vote, which will end now in the chat, we have I think it's 60-40. Or actually, for some reason, YouTube has 59% no and 40% yes. That's 99%. That's not 100%. So
math is hard.
YouTube's struggling.
I didn't vote, so that might be why.
Why do you think we have all these sponsored videos? It's because YouTube doesn't pay us properly.
YouTube doesn't give us anything. 40% yes, that's actually higher than what I expected. So it's gathered some considerable interest here in the amateur radio community. I'm sure that we're going to cop heat for speculating and for doing all this other stuff. But I mean, what else are we supposed to do when we don't get information released to us? So,
well, I mean, I think it's perfectly natural thing to happen, right? People are excited about it.
Well, where's the bad news? Like, where's the bad thing? If people are excited about a radio that's coming out and that they want to know more about it and they want to know all the features and what's happening with it, I don't see what the problem is. What's the problem with
free advertising?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, if you want to do things right, why don't you give out proper information? But anyway, that's my rant for the day.
Calm down, Hayden.
You didn't solo yourself. You got to do it all over again. Do it again.
Little me being 8,000 miles away from you guys in the United States and about the same distance from Japan as well. Yaesu, Japan. Why don't you give me some information? But that's all right. Don't worry about it.
You didn't use your American accent.
We'll make it up as we go. Because we don't really know. I don't know. It just goes straight to Southern, doesn't it? So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for an interesting stream. But the 500 wins. The 500 wins. So
300%. It's 300% better.
Just delete the 400 TO because it doesn't even exist on the market anymore. You can't even buy it, so it doesn't matter.
Poof.
So bye-bye.
Solved.
There we go. There we go. All the chips will go to we'll go to the 500. I don't think we'll put Colin's comment on screen. So.
If that's his real name.
Yeah.
Who does he think he is? The smoking ape?
I don't know what a Jersey accent is. Is that a New Jersey accent?
Not the one you were doing. No.
No,
I don't know how to do that. So, all right, 73. Let us know in the chat or the comments later on. Sorry, the comments what you would like to see next week. We controversially put radios together and compare them and see which one comes out on top. As
And
always,
it's best
every
if we
week.
start out with no knowledge whatsoever of what we're talking about. That seems to have worked really well for the show today.
Hang on, what do you mean? Don't start out with any knowledge? Isn't that every week?
Right.
I thought that was every week. We have very limited knowledge on the radios that we've actually owned over the years. So maybe we should do a stream on that. We should do a stream on radios that we have actually owned.
Right, you don't know how to work them.
The Kenwood
See, a lot of people think that-
TS570D.
This is the other thing too, is a lot of people think that I'm just an Icon person, but I as I said, I own the Yaesu in the car, and I've also got a Yaesu HT.
What is that, the 6? Is that the 6?
No, this is the 8. This is the 8.
Oh, nice.
So what happened was just shortly before this was this was discontinued. So I rushed out. I bought one, and I've used it heaps since. So there you go.
Here we go. This is the VR3 or 3RV or something like that. It doesn't have no buttons on it. The thing's tiny. Look at that. It's the
Massive ape hands.
VX3. But
Squatch hands.
I got this after they discontinued it like 6 years
That's
ago.
got, yeah, same. That's got a give us another look.
Hi.
That's got a giant knob on the top too. Look at that. That's
Look, it's actually a tiny knob, but just the rest of it's so small too.
it might be just the size of your hands
Compare
too.
that to the international standard unit of measure. Whip out your fang.
I don't have my
it's-
fang within arm's reach
Mine's
Yeah, mine's across the room.
because
over the
I've
back here, so-
rearranged everything.
Oh, you got the fancy fang. That one actually does
I
8
got it.
watts.
I got the 9.
First-
no, it doesn't
first
do 8
look at
watts.
that
It
9.
does about 6.5. So
Is it clean
There you go.
now? Does it drift? Oh wait, wrong show.
no,
I take that
I need
back.
to test it.
Sorry, Ape.
Ape can do that. I've actually got my service monitor down here. I probably should do it.
You should put it up on the shelf and give you credibility, son.
What,
But
the
this
service
repeater is
monitor?
wide open.
It's too
Yeah.
heavy. Yeah, the repeater guts are open. I don't know if anyone's interested in a video on that, but
Yes.
I'm doing some work. I'm doing some work on those. So, but anyway, what were we doing? Oh, that's right. We were saying 73. We'll see you next
That's
week.
right.
Bye bye.
Thanks,
for now.
everybody.
Thank you,
Have a
Ape,
good
for
time.
joining us and TO, and check out Temporary Offline and the Smoking Apes channel. Bye for now.